Hello, hello. It's a few days late, but we are now finally reading One Piece, chapter 1128. Last chapter kicked down the door in a major way on the Elbaf arc. The Straw Hats all passed out after a night of drinking and carousing, had the Sunny and all of its current occupants abducted by maybe some petulant giant child, or who knows, some giant entity, brought back to Elbaf and put in a toy castle, some sort of strange society created by this playful, experimental, but somewhat twisted giant where humans live in giant scale environments, um, dealing with giant bees and giant cats and hedgehogs that they worship like gods, set up in castles built out of Lego, which someone pointed out in a comment I read is actually a Danish toy, so it makes sense in this Scandinavian setting. And now are trying to figure out what the hell is going on, causing a lot of havoc, of course, ruining this playset, which again could be made by just an innocent little child. Although it is really something kind of twisted and sadistic to imprison these people in this artificial world. Who knows what they think is going on? I don't know. But yeah, this at least is what I think is happening. I think that that is by far the most likely explanation for what is going on. We are indeed in a miniature version of human world on Elbaf. But who knows? Also, I want to point out that this giant kid or whoever undressed Nami and redressed her up, which is a little perverse. So I think this giant will be getting his comeuppance, his or her comeuppance, who knows. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is actually hallucinatory or some unrelated thing or something. I doubt it though. I think I'm on the money with this one. Our color spread here sees the Straw Hats flying around in the sky on brooms with a big dragon. Fun, fun. I like, going through and seeing what everybody's up to. Jinbei, took me a second to spot him, but he's chilling. He's big boss mode. So this is reader requests coming in. But I wonder if, well, is there a secret tribute here to new Jump series Ichi the Witch, which I'm really enjoying so far. I highly recommend One Piece fans check it out. I think it has a lot of potential. It's a very kind of modern, very stylized, very cool kind of tone and style and character designs and stuff. But at the same time, it's only the only Jump series that is running in Jump right now that didn't start in the 90s that actually takes place in a fantasy world. I talked about this at length in my weekly Shonen Jump discussion video, but they just don't make fantasy world series anymore. Like, it just barely ever happens. It's crazy. So maybe this is Oda respecting and calling out another fantasy world enjoyer. Okay, this chapter is titled RPG, role-playing game. I think I'm right on the money. So yeah, Sanji denying that it's a dream. There wouldn't be any enemy. It's true. Cascading, jumping down this big Lego fortress. Come on the other side of that town. Towards all the noise to finishing off this huge rabbit. Yeah. Here's what I think. In my view, these are Elbaf warrior clothes we've been dressed in. Yeah. But there's no way that Elbaf Land of Giants would have clothes our size. This is Elbaf we turned into giants. No. Yeah. Now I'm skeptical of that. I think they're just going to keep guessing wrong. So any guesses we get are wrong. People in town, gotta ask around. Yeah. Never reach the sea at this rate. Robin's not turning up on the me radar. A lot of people pointing out, too, that these are the OG Straw Hats. The 5 that were together before they hit the Grand Line. I don't know if that means anything. Some people are like, ooh, this must have significance. But no, I think maybe it's just a coincidence. Those are the ones that happen to be on the Sunny. when it was yoinked. Um, I don't know. I think it's just kind of a nice opportunity to see the dynamics of these original five back together. You know, I think they have such a great chemistry and rapport. I love this too, that it really is kind of like your fantasy setting RPG parody. They're having to head into town and gather clues, and how freaky this place is. We're out in the wide open and there isn't even any breeze. Interesting. Are they in just like a box? Is the sky fake? Because I think they called that tree Yggdrasil. There's no way it's like the real Yggdrasil. Because I forgot, on Elbaf, there is a giant tree called Yggdrasil. That's not it. That's definitely not it. That's like a shrub. Or that's just like a normal tree that is the giant tree in the playset or whatever. But yeah, I think maybe they're in like a toy box, or maybe they're just inside a house or something. Well, here comes somebody. What the? They did this before. This is from there's a One Piece movie where there's like a biker gang and dudes ride around on grasshoppers like bikes, and it looks so similar to this. I don't know if that's a unintentional double up or kind of a fun tribute to something that was non-canon. I'm gonna look this up after. Please remind me somehow magically to look this up after. But Oda's this has been involved in a One Piece product before. I remember this. But yeah, this is pretty sweet. I like this idea. See, this is Oda's genius, I think, in the character establishment. You know, we have this guy who's like a biker. We've had kind of like biker parody characters in the past, like the Flying Fish Riders and stuff. So we got to make it unique somehow. So he rides around on a giant grasshopper and boing, boing, boing. That's already great. And then just this whole idea of like doubling up on your settings. You want to have the fun of Toy World and Miniature World, where they're tiny and stuff that's normally small is big. You get to enjoy all of that. But then it's also RPG world. It's like traditional fantasy world where they're characters in a Dragon Quest game. Harry, no time to sit and talk, but I can tell you this. All of the vast land you see belongs to the sun god. Yeah, this was mentioned before, the sun god. Which we hear is Nika. So I think this kid, whoever is making this giant little playhouse, is someone who is like a fan of Nika, maybe from reading the Ohara research or whatever. Maybe all of the giants now understand, you know, the ancient religion of Nika. So yeah, he's like, I'm Nika, ha ha ha, do 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 do. Serve the ruler of Big Steam Castle, Mr. Iskat. Oh, yeah. I call this the land of the gods. Yeah, they blew up all these things. Yup. Must never venture in the other direction from the castle. Sun God's temple is there, guarded by vicious soldiers. Yeah, okay, Luffy's gonna go to the temple. Uh-huh. That's so great. This is such a great little all these little character moments are so great, you know, just the dynamics of all of these guys is so classic. It's, you know, stuff I've been enjoying since I was a little kid. Like, these are, all my friends are here for sure. But I love this little character insight of Sanji calling out Zoro for also being really excited and saying, Luffy acts that way because he feeds off your energy. And that's so true. Throughout the entire series, there's all these moments where Luffy is being clued emotionally by someone else. It's like he gets excited because Usopp is excited, or he gets excited because Chopper is excited, or he gets vicious and battle ready because Zoro is vicious and battle ready. He needs these kind of emotional cues. When he's by himself, He's just like completely zen, airheaded, barely, just kind of vaguely curious and wandering about. It's a really fascinating aspect of his character. It lines up with the fact that he never has any internal dialogue, which Oda has talked about in the SBS. Uh, Luffy, you'll never see his thoughts, and very, very rarely he'll speak out loud to himself and talk about his intent or his thought process or whatever. Um, so I love just this little call out that Luffy's getting excited. And Zoro is also getting excited. And because Zoro is excited, I smell adventure. Does this castle look just like the other? Yeah, it's like they bought multiple of the same playset. Elbaf closed too. Oh, it's a mirror. That's why it looks so big. They're just in a big mirrored box. The kingdom is in chaos today. Yeah. Yep. All right, so I'm right. I was never really in doubt. I thought it was quite obvious until I started reading comments and I saw people suggesting the most outlandish, wild theories. But yeah, I figured it was this. I just love this premise too. This is just so much fun. I would have been disappointed if it was anything else besides this. Nothing but pets in an enormous cage. Yes, indeed. Ah, and then they get Chopper. So they're kind of just recreating the crew one at a time. Next is Robin. So yeah, they bust out of their cage. I like too that like we're not meant to treat this as like a full scale epic arc where they're in danger or anything. You know, this is just a fun, really crazy way to introduce Elbaf. Just this is the way that Oda loves to introduce these new settings and these new arcs, is by throwing you in the deep end and just throwing tons of little plot elements that'll start making sense later. It's so great. So yeah, they get out trivially. Every threat inside of there is trivial. And they can get their crew back one at a time. You know, there was never really any huge danger. And I love that. I just love the kind of tonal shift too after Egghead was like so fucking intense. And everybody could have just died. Human-sized clothes in Giant's room. It's supposed to be like doll clothing. You were crying at the start too. Son got a super delicate artisan at once. Yeah, they were burning up the plastic blocks. Yeah, a one-way mirror. Pervert, yup. Some giant with poor taste decided to build a kingdom of blocks and toss a bunch of humans and animals in to see what happens. Yeah, I knew. Does this mean we're already in Elbaf? That's right. This is Elbaf. All I know is a giant did this. I need to get outside to be sure. Where's everybody else? Yeah, we don't ... He's gonna do it. Next page, he's gonna do it. Yeah, the giant snake. The temple soldiers. Yeah, you gotta beat up all the giant animals. That's very fun. And here is our giant experimenter. This is the mysterious agent that set this whole thing up. I thought it would be like a kid. I thought that was gonna be the final reveal. Is that it's kind of like that Star Trek episode. Remember that Star Trek episode, the TOS episode, where they're entered into like this coliseum where they have to battle against like historic figures and all these different things, and there's like this god-like entity that set this whole thing up and is basically doing this just like to push their limits and to see what will happen. And then in the end, you find out that that godlike entity is just a child of its species. And that it's just having fun. There wasn't any kind of grandiose scheme. This isn't part of some vast, hyper-intelligent agent. It's not some, orchestrated thing. It was just like a kid messing around. Great Star Trek episode. So I thought it would be a similar thing here. But I don't know. This looks like an adult. It seems to have the proportions of an adult. Doesn't look anything like our jolly goofy giants. Now, a character that has been mentioned is the Prince of Giant Society, Loki. So this could be Loki. Because I think this must be like a privileged child to have like a big room in their house just devoted to messing with humans. Loki is the trickster god, of course, in Norse mythology. So if there's a character named Loki, probably we should expect them to be mischievous and a little sinister. So yeah, I'm gonna guess this is Loki. This is the Prince of Giant Society. Yeah. The Sun's God's back. Ooh, Luffy going Gear 5. He just does it trivially now. It's like not a big deal. It's not when he's pushed to the brink or anything. It's just that he likes doing it. I love it. I love it. That's so different than any other like super late game shonen superpower, right? I mean, by the end, Goku was turning Super Saiyan like that. But typically, it's like, ooh, I gotta use Sage Toad mode and get all my jutsus going and stuff. And I can only do this when I really, really need to. Luffy's just having a fucking blast. The Dawn pistol, that's kind of his new bread and butter. Beating the crap out of big animals. Giant seems especially huge and it looks creepy. Yeah. Well, this is just it too. I couldn't figure out if the scale like made sense or was consistent. Cause I kind of picture Luffy is like the size that he would sit on the palm of the giant like this, kind of, right? To use my little toy that I fidget with. So if he's that big, yeah, I guess it makes sense that like a bee is still pretty big if it's like a big bee. I don't know. Giant seems especially huge. Didn't find anything worth money. Whoa, it's the instruction booklet. See, this is a great thing about One Piece too, is like we have this whole chaotic fight scene or whatever. Zoro's fighting, Sanji's fighting, Luffy's definitely fighting. Usopp's kind of on spotter duty. What's Nami doing? She's stealing. Of course she's stealing. She's rummaging around and looting for stuff. And they don't even need to say it. They don't even have to have a panel calling it out. Because we know these characters so well and they all have such strong personalities. I love this. I love this. So she gets a instruction booklet, aka a map. There's another mirror, break through that and the wall behind it and we'll be outside. Makes sense, yeah. Figured that out. Sun God isn't a divine fury. Oh, this is so great. This is so great. Like, we praise One Piece a lot when it's revelatory, when you're learning lore and it's blowing your mind and mysteries that you've had in your mind for 10 years are now suddenly being explained. And we praise One Piece when it's heart-wrenching, when you see poor Kuma sacrificing his very humanity to keep his daughter alive. And we praise One Piece when it's truly epic in scale and the whole world seems to be moving in response to major events. And it feels like Oda truly has brought this gigantic, imagination-rich world to life. And we praise One Piece when the fights become so bitter and brutal and down to the edge as Luffy and Lucci punch each other within an inch of their lives. But the reason we care about all those moments, the reason they have weight, is because of chapters like this. It's because it's all part of this grand adventure. and that we spend so long in that mode of adventure, in that feeling of discovery and curiosity and excitement, in enjoying our characters' personalities and their antics, and seeing what they get up to in all of these amazing fantastical worlds. That's what makes One Piece so great and so unique. Is that feeling of adventure, and it's these chapters that just hone in so specifically on that feeling of adventure that I think are truly the best One Piece chapters. Well, I don't know if I go that far, but they're great One Piece chapters. That's for sure. Oh man. He 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 he. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, all right. Good stuff. Let's look forward to next week. Bye bye.